Hi, hello, and how's it going? It is her, she, it is me, it is I, Millenia Decade.
And this is Alix with an I, and this is Café.
Gun glitter.
Hey, everybody.
Ew.
Hey, Millenia, how's it going?
It is going great. How are you, Alix?
I'm doing well. I just got a haircut.
Nice. Can I slap the back of your head and say...
No, you fucking can't. What the
you
fuck?
didn't let me finish.
No.
I thought it was like straight people thing to be like you cut G.
You
No?
can tell me that,
Oh, okay.
but you can't fucking touch my head. What the fuck?
I thought I was like a straight guy thing. No?
You're a queen.
Sure am. But I
No.
like to know people and their cultures.
I'm like, no.
I'm fixing the flag.
Anyway, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm just here in our studio in Armona.
Armona, California.
Ooh, ooh.
If you don't know where that's at,
It's how many minutes away from Hanford?
7.
And it's how many minutes away from Fresno?
45?
And if you don't know where Fresno is,
Somewhere between LA and Sacramento.
you'll find it. Look it up.
Look it on the map.
So what's today's topic?
Today's topic is actually, I have a question for you.
Yes.
This has been on my mind for a long time, but I wanted to save it for the podcast.
I do.
I wanted to know what, because I was talking to your mom last night. Okay, and your mom
That
was
woman.
telling me all kinds of stories about you. So I kind of wanted to know what your most embarrassing story was.
Something embarrassing. I guess something embarrassing would be that I spent most of my life in the closet and I was like, nobody's gonna know. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. But yet I would be in every talent show. And it wasn't until I mentioned it to you last week that I was like, oh yeah, I did every talent show and I had pink highlights in my hair. And I was giving it all for the youth. And then you're like, and you were closeted. And I was like, well, god motherfucking damn. I guess I wasted all those years of my life trying to hide and everybody knew. Justin Timberlake and NSYNC were big at the time. They thought I was a backup dancer.
No, you were doing, what song were you doing?
I was doing Celia Cruz. La vida es un carnaval. I was doing Spice Girls. I was doing the telenovela themes.
So,
And then my mom would be like, well, you see all those backup dancers for the celebrities, they're all guys. And I'm like, of course they are. We're all straight, Mom. I am a homosexual.
how old were you when you came out?
I was like 21 actually.
Oh,
Mhm.
'cause I saw a photo of you.
I was wearing makeup. I had a little bit of foundation on because I didn't want to look shiny on the photo.
And you were 18 in that photo.
Oh my god. See, this is what you do. You like say stuff back to me and I'm like, everybody knew.
Everybody knew.
The day I came out, it kind of happened because my Nina, I love her so much. At the time, she was like, tell your mom she's gonna love you. And I was like, tell her what?
Oh, she like put you on blast.
But to be fair, my Nina always like, she's very loving and accepting. And to her, she was like, she's your mom. She'll love you. There's nothing wrong. And then I was over here pretending I didn't know what she was talking about. And then sure enough, I broke and I was like, I'm gay. And then I was crying and I had mascara running down my face. I look like that lady from Mulan with the mascara. And
Wait, so did you say I'm gay? Did you say it in English or did you say it in Spanish?
I said it in Spanish. I was like, I'm gay. Soy gay.
Soy gay.
Just kidding, no. I just kept denying it. I was like, tell her what? Tell her what? And then when she finally said, tell her that you're gay. I even saw it in slow motion that you're gay. And I was like, yeah, I couldn't hold it anymore. But I always say that I'm thankful for her doing that because if she didn't do that, I think I would have been closeted for more years.
More?
It was a blessing in disguise because that's what like kicked me out of the closet and kind of broke the ice. And then from there on, it was a journey of me connecting with my mom.
Okay. That's cool. Interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. So no hard feelings, and I'm actually thankful because my Nina actually messaged me once and she was like, I'm so sorry I did that. And I was like, you know what, don't feel sorry, I'm thankful you did that because I wouldn't have had the courage to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And I know it was out of a place of love. She wasn't trying to like hurt me.
Yeah.
She was like, for her it was very much like there should be no issue. She's your mom, she loves you, she'll understand.
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
yeah.
Were you scared because of what you saw on TV and that's why you were closeted for so long?
I mean, this was, I grew up I was born in 91. You were born in 91.
We're both
You know
born
what
in
it
91.
was like back then.
Mm-hmm. It was very much comical.
Yeah, you were the butt of the joke. Huh?
I said butt.
But gay butt.
Yeah.
But you remember those shows like Jerry Springer, Jose Luis,
yeah.
the whole it's a gay guy, it's a woman, it's a man, and that was like the extent to representation we had back then. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have social media, and everything that the media was saying, this is queer, it was bad, it was a joke, it was nasty, and that messes with you as a child. Yeah, so like Jose Luis, Jerry Springer, all those shows were just kind of like shitting on queer people. And even like the news, I remember there being a protest over what is it called in Rome or the Vatican?
Oh yeah.
And there was queer people, rainbow flags, and people kissing in front of the church or whatever. And the media at the time, the channel that we were watching, it was very much like, oh, look at what they're doing. And I remember my family being like, this is like why people blah blah blah. And so it was established from very early on that it was not okay to be gay, it was not okay to be queer. And I knew from the 3rd grade that I was gay. And so since the 3rd grade, I started to suffer in my own head, being like, I wish I could change, I wish I could change, I wish I wasn't me, why am I like this, how am I gonna live my life like this? Very early on.
Yeah. Wow. So you said 3rd grade. Because in 3rd grade for me, that was the first time I had like a crush on a girl.
Oh really?
Yeah. And at the time I was presenting female, right? So I remember in 3rd grade, I did come out to my mom, but really my mom asked me first. Because there was a novela that we were watching called Soñadoras. Yeah, and so every time it came on, I was like super excited to watch it. Well, yeah, there's a bunch of pretty beautiful women on there.
Mind you, from a queer perspective, okay, I remember the intro. It was a bunch of young women in bikinis running through the beach. Zoom ins on the butt, the thighs, and the boobs, and the face, and them swimming, and shirtless men. So that's what the intro.
I don't remember the shirtless men.
I sure do.
I don't.
Gabriel Soto.
No, I don't remember that. But yeah, so I would hurry up and be like, oh no, I'm gonna watch it. So I'd do my homework and then I would watch it.
Cute.
Yeah, and then so one day as it came on, I was like super excited and my mom was like, hey, and then she was like, do you like girls? Just like that. And I was like, no. Like I was like, no, because I didn't want to get my ass beat. Like, you know, we had some issues and I didn't want to get my ass beat. So I was like, no, of course not. And then she was like, it's okay if you do. And I was like, no, I don't. So then, you know, fast forward to freshman year of high school, you know, I got into a relationship with the girl for the first time. And then when I went and I was like, okay, I got to tell my mom. So I told her. And then my mom was like, she was like into church at the time. And she was like, God told me this was going to happen. I saw 2 women at Burger King.
Oh, God. Not Burger King. Now Burger Queen.
Yeah, she was like, it's not right. You know, you're not. And I was like, what do you mean it's not right? You asked me when I was younger.
Do you feel she would have been accepting had you said yes when you were younger, or was it like a trap?
I don't know. But I didn't feel safe to say yes at the time.
And so I kind of talked a little bit about what led to me feeling that way. The representation, not feeling safe in the family. Or I even remember like a kid that was very outwardly flamboyant and effeminate getting bullied. And I knew it wasn't okay. we had a neighbor who was, his name was Alix, and he was gay. And then people were like, yeah, he's a little weird. And he like, hey girls. So I knew why it was not okay for me. What was your experience? What made you feel unsafe or like it wasn't okay? Or
So my mom had a group of friends, right? And it was all women. One of those women was a very masculine woman. She was very masculine. She had like her hair slicked back. It's the 90s, right? Leather jackets, things like that. And I was like, dude, that like she looks cool. But sure enough, she was a lesbian. And they would make little comments. They would make fun of her. And they would make fun of her to my mom specifically. Because I guess this is a whole nother topic. But her and my mom were close. And so they'd be like, oh, Maria, she's going to come sit with you. And they would make fun of my mom.
like Robin and Whitney Houston close?
I don't know what that is.
Whitney Houston had an assistant named Robin, and they said that they were like always together.
Something like that. But we ain't gonna drop the family drama on here just yet.
I need to know the tea.
But yeah, so something like that. But they would make fun of her pretty constantly. And so at the time, right, I'm a young kid, female presenting. And I'm like, if I'm like her, then I'm gonna get made fun of. It's gonna be bad. That's why. And then obviously, again, everything you see on TV, I've always seen in those shows, it was always men dressing as women, and it was comical, it was funny. But then I never seen, like, you would see like women dressing masculine, but it was just that they were lesbian. I never knew that I could be that I was trans, in the sense where I was like, I could, that my gender identity wasn't man, and that I could transition. I didn't know that. It never clicked in my head. So yeah.
And I mean, I think it's a very complicated topic that there would be no reason for a child to be able to understand that on their own.
No, I didn't understand. I just knew that when I was younger, I was like, no, I'm gonna evolve into being a man somehow. And then
you would tell other
I would tell other kids like, no, right now this is me.
That's so cute.
Later on, I'm gonna grow up to be a man.
Just you wait.
Yeah. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, okay. And like none of us know what the heck's going on. And then puberty hit, and I was like, oh shoot, like that's not what's happening.
Going the opposite way.
Yeah. So but when I came out to her, yeah, it went bad. It was bad. There was a lot of domestic abuse and things like that, or physical abuse.
Do you feel it was because she was getting back at you for that?
I think my mom was just angry. I don't know. I think she was just angry, and she just didn't know how to deal. But having the church on her side didn't help. So she would go and like talk to people and tell the whole church about me, that her kid was, at the time we would say gay, right, as an umbrella term for lesbian, bi, gay, whatever. She would go and tell everybody. And I was like, dude, what the heck? People would come to my house and try to like pray the gay out of me, or like try to perform exorcisms on me. And I was like, what the heck? Like nothing's wrong with me.
Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah.
What was that like? Was it like conversion therapy?
It wasn't conversion therapy, but it was very much like, I don't know. It was just people coming to my house, people I didn't know, people that were high in the church, being allowed to give my mom, giving them permission to like put their hands on me and like pray and ask God to like take this away from me, to fix me, to do things like that. So it was kind of like that. It wasn't so much therapy, but it was random people coming to kind of just pray the gay away.
How would it make you feel when these people would be doing that? What would be going through your mind?
Well, for one, I thought maybe, for a second, I thought they were right. For a second, I thought my life was not going well because of that. And when people tell you that over and over and over and over again, you start to believe it. You really do. And I remember at the time, I did have a girlfriend, and I would tell her that's what I thought. And she would be like, no, like that's not why. And I was like, but it is, so we have to break up. And it was a very, very confusing time in my teens, but it made me feel like something was probably wrong with me, and that this wasn't right, and that I was gonna go to hell, that just things like that. So, and it was, I was just like laying there like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, am I supposed to be throwing up? Am I supposed to be like convulsing? Like, I never did. And they would like force their hands on me and like try to push me
Mm.
like physically. And I was like, what the fuck? But
I would
anyway,
have given them a show.
yeah, no, I didn't.
Just kidding.
And I feel like I should have, but I didn't.
Put an
So
Alka Seltzer in your mouth. Shit.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
but that there's no other way to say it other than it sucks. Like that shit sucks. I would imagine that's traumatizing to a child. Someone's developing, someone messes with your psyche, your self-worth, your image, like. But and I mean, I think it's important for people to share these stories because there's even talks about conversion therapy locally,
There is.
around in California.
You think it's not, you think it's not happening in the Central Valley? It is. It's happening right now, in places. I don't want to give them any clout or anything like that, but it is happening. And part of our job in our daily 9 to 5s, is trying to educate and help those that need it. So the little Alexes that were out there getting hands put on them and things like that, we're trying to support them in ways that we can. But yeah, it's, you're developing, you're trying to figure out who you are, and then when they bring you down like that, it sucks. But I did have to come out to my mom again later on in life as trans. So I did have a lot of masculine energy, and
How were you feeling at that point when you had to come out to your mom? Like, were you more confident? Because it varies person to person. Like, I was scared poopless. Like, I was terrified that I didn't even do it on my own. But there's some people who feel very comfortable being like, this is my life, this is who I am, and either you accept it or you're not. And I've always said it that like there's two types of people when they're coming out and they live their life. There's like the fearless warrior one, and then there's the person who crumbles under all the pressure and is scared. And I was definitely the scared one. And I know plenty of warriors. But how were you feeling during the second time that you were gonna come out? Because it wasn't your first,
No.
but this time you were gonna come out as trans to your mom.
No, I was still scared. And I made a whole video about it, of what it was like. But I was not living with her anymore. But when I was starting to leave, I was already starting to dress in masculine clothing, just because I was what I was comfortable with. And she would say things like, "You look ugly. Why are you wearing that? Don't come out." Like things like that. And I was like, okay. So then when after a year after I moved out, I was able to figure out, everything, and be like, okay, this is it. And I started the journey, and I think I was like a month in on hormones already, after going to therapy for a long time. And I was like, I need to tell her, because things are going to change. My voice, the way I look, everything. And I was scared. So I had my sister, I had her be with me, because I was afraid to be alone with my mom because of our past, because of the physical abuse. And I told her like that this is something that I felt when I was younger, when I was little. And she was like, you don't even know what you felt when you were little. How can you say that? And I'm like, this is why it's so important for me to tell people, like, kids are listening, kids know what they're feeling, because I knew at such a young age that I was already feeling this way. I just didn't know how to say it. But yeah, I was scared. And in her mind, there was no, she didn't understand, right? So it was very much like, oh, so you're a girl, but you're just gonna have a lot of muscles now. And I was like, no, it's gonna be different. She's like, I don't understand. And I didn't know how to explain it to her, like, because she speaks Spanish, right? So the language, I didn't know how to explain the language to her. How do I tell her that I'm on hormones, that it's gonna change my but I'm gonna go through this puberty? How am I gonna tell her all these things? But but yeah, it was still met with no it was still met with not much acceptance, right? So even now to this day, if I call her, it's mija. It's
Like
my
misgendering,
yeah, misgendering me, not really calling me by name.
respecting your identity.
No, nothing like that. And it's if she doesn't talk about me. I don't know if she talks about me as her son to other people, but I do know that she talks to me as her oldest daughter to other people.
So I feel that for a lot of people, it's very difficult because they do want the support of their parents, the love of their parents.
And I did for a long time.
So that's my question to you. What was that journey like, and how did you get to the point you are at now?
It took a lot of years. It took a lot of years and a lot of therapy. No, but it took a lot of years to get to the point. I had one therapist tell me, like, give me a reality check almost, because I was like, no, my mom needs to accept me, my mom needs to love me, and my therapist stopped me and was like, your mom doesn't have to. And I was like, fuck, she's right. My mom doesn't have to. She can, but she doesn't have to, even if I am her kid.
And what does that mean exactly?
Like that she doesn't have to accept me as I am. She doesn't have to love me as I am. She doesn't have to. And if she doesn't want to, then there's nothing that I can do that's gonna change her mind. Like it is what it is. And then at that point, it's up to me what I want to do.
I think that's what I was gonna ask. Do you think she said that in a sense of you don't need that approval or that presence in your life for you to take control of your own life?
Yeah, that's what it was. And I think it was a couple of, I want to say like a couple of years, because then I think 2 years after hormones, I had surgery, and I told my mom. But it was very much like, so she didn't see me after surgery. She didn't ask me how I was doing. She didn't ask me anything like that. So it after that, I just kind of stopped coming around. I just kind of stopped looking for her. I just kind of stopped. It was after a lot of crying, a lot of like heartbreak. Yeah, a lot of letting go, a lot of like your mom is the one that is supposed to care for you. Or it's instilled in you. And I was always closer to my mom than my dad.
Okay.
So it was like, your mom's supposed to take care of you, she's supposed to love you, she's supposed to take care of you, she's supposed to nurture you. And it was like I didn't have that. And it's not like I had it all the time. We had a really rough relationship. But then coming out kind of, and her not accepting, made the distance bigger. So yeah, it was that, and it took many years, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of letting go. And still to this day, I do get sad. And then I'll call her, or I'll call her back, because I don't always answer her. And it's like, oh, mija, blah, blah. And I'm just like, this is why. This is why I don't call you. This is why I don't come around. And it's like, it's not like she doesn't know. She's not dumb.
She aware.
She knows. And I understand that she has some mental health issues as well. But I'm not going to bend over backwards to try to get her to accept me and love me. I have support in other places. Does it still hurt? Yeah, it does. It still hurts to this day. And I wish things were different, and I wish I could have conversations with her like other people do. And conversations that I have like with your mom, about just life and things in general, and daily. Like, how was your day? What did you do today? Where do you work? What do you do at work? Because it got to the point where I said, one day I'm gonna have kids. Are you gonna love them? And then she was like, I can't tell you. And I was like, okay. I could tell you right now that no matter which sibling it is, if they have kids, I'm gonna love them. But yeah, it still hurts. It's better, but it still hurts, and it's still scary. And the next couple of surgeries I had after that, I just didn't tell her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she would tell my other sisters like, why didn't they tell me? Um, and they'd be like, well, you know why? And that caused a riff with my younger siblings because some of my other younger siblings are queer as well, and they saw the way she was treating me, so they didn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, it's very like nobody really knows, Um, but one of my younger siblings has expressed to me that because of the way mom treated you, I was too scared to come out, and I probably won't ever come out to her. And I was like, okay, and I'm sorry that you had to see that. But it's hard coming out. It's hard, and everybody has different stories, different experiences. Like you said, some of them are like, "This is me. This is it." And now, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. My dad was very accepting. The first thing that he told me was like, "It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be super hard." And I was like, "I know." And then to this day, he tells me that he's proud of me, of how far I've come. But yeah, it's different with everybody.
I think that's why there's a lot of people who don't understand that coming out is still not safe for everyone. It's not just a matter of just say it, just admit you're gay, you're just that you're this, that you're that. Like, you don't know what people are going through, and not everybody has the luxury of having an accepting and open family. And you never know what time will give you, because sometimes it takes a little bit of separation and you doing your own thing. You never know, but it does make a hell of a difference when someone is open to learning and trying to change and to understand, not just closing off and rejecting, and I feel that a story like yours is very important for people to listen to, because not everything is just a parade and yay and acceptance and love. Like, there is a very visceral and hurtful shit that happens, and not everybody can just do that, and it's a whole process.
Our culture ties in pretty heavily into it.
That too.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I've always said too is that we can't pick the family that we're born into, but we can make our own. We can choose the people that we allow into our lives and who become the family. I don't talk to a lot of my blood relatives for that same reason, probably. I was lucky enough that in my household, at the beginning there was a lot of like, do you want to go to therapy, do you want to talk to a psychiatrist, are you sure, a lot of that. But over time, there's things they don't understand, but they're like, at the end of the day, you're Johnny and we love Johnny. And so I know that I was very lucky in that aspect. But I feel that right now, you're my family, and my mom, my dad, and my little siblings, and a couple 3 other people, but because if you were to look at it, yeah, my family would be huge. I have cousins in Mexico and El Salvador, but to me, that's not my family. My family is like my little nucleus of people that I have here.
Yeah, and I'm very lucky to be a part of your family and be very accepted and quite fast, like very early on.
Like, you don't understand. Like, you are my brother. Like, you are like a child to my parents. They love you. They're always asking for you. And I know that it's a little different for you, but one thing for sure is that like you'll never ever be alone anymore. Like, you have us, like straight up, like.
Yeah, no, and I've been very, very, very lucky to have so many so many moms be like open to being there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so many other, it's crazy, like, and everybody else's mom
exactly
loves me.
I'm very sorry that was your experience, like, with your birth mom, because they have like an amazing human of a son. Like, there's this quote from this movie that says approval is not desired nor required. And I was like, I'm gonna get that tattoo because it was a movie about drag queens. But it's true. Like, your approval is not desired or required. I'm gonna do me, and you can join me if you want. But
and I'm still working on it.
It's it's a whole process. So what would you say is some good advice for people to deal with people who are coming out, who may suspect that somebody is different in the family, or for youth? What is the best way to be an ally or a person for these people?
I think the best way is, one, educate yourself. If you feel or you know somebody, or you might, like you said, might think that they are, educate yourself on basic LGBT 101. Wear something that stands out to them.
Yes.
Wearing like a little pin, having a sticker with a rainbow on it.
A lot of teachers have been doing that, having a little rainbow flag or sticker or a patch or something. And I feel like our coworker said it's like the gay bat signal, and it's very true. Like, it could be something as simple as that, but kids are aware now, and they see that rainbow and they'll feel safe. Safe is the word. They'll feel safe, and like they have someone they can go to.
So and then there are times where I'm out, right, and if I see a kid or an adult that's wearing a pin, a rainbow pin, I say, I like your pin, whatever. And so then that kind of signals, okay, so you know what this means. And then maybe to them it's like, okay, so he knows what it means and he likes it, so he's probably an ally. So just doing something like that, and then casually bringing it up without it feeling like you're bringing it up on purpose, right? So that's casually bringing it up, like, oh, like I was working with so and so, and there's like an LGBT center that I want to go to and volunteer at, while not to them, but while they're in the room, so it's not directed at them. But wait for the person to come to you. Don't ever be like, hey, blah 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 blah, like, are you this? More than likely they're gonna lie to you until you know.
That was me. Well, I feel that this episode, this was a very deep topic, one of the deeper ones we've had, but
in there.
Very important and necessary conversations that need to be had, and I'm glad we were able to have this one today.
If you want to share your coming out story in the comments, you can. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about what it was like for you, or maybe why you're not ready to, please feel free to do so.
Or what you do as an ally to provide a safe space for other people. If you have anything to add to the conversation, we would love for you to share it, and for other people to see it as well.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share our video. We're gonna be up on the podcast on Apple. I don't know how that works.
So now our podcast is like streaming everywhere, so you can stream it wherever you listen to it, I guess. Apple, Google, Spotify, and YouTube for video version, so you can see Alex's handsome face in 4K or whatever resolution.
Thank you so much for watching, and we're gonna see you all soon.
So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Café
con Glitter.